Dear students, in this video we will discuss about class 7 English Alive first poem. We are the music makers. This poem is written by Arthur William Edgar O. Shaughnessy. So in this we will discuss about the poet's introduction, the rhyming scheme, the poetic devices, the literary devices and also stanza wise explanation. Okay, so let's start. So this is the first poem, We Are the Music Makers. This is written by Arthur William Edgar O. Shaughnessy. Okay, so this is originally known as ode. Okay, so you know ode. An ode is a form of lyrics poetry that express emotion and it's usually addressed to someone or something, or it represents the poet's musing on that person or thing. Okay, we are the music makers. It is originally known as ode. Let's start about the first poet's introduction. So you know he is a British poet of Irish descent, born in London on March 14, 1844. Death 30 January 1881, London. So you know by profession he was a herpetologist. You know herpetologist means it is the study of uh, zoology. But by interest he was a writer. His first published collection of poem was Epic of Women 1870, then Les of France 1872, Music and Moonlight 1874, then Song of a Worker 1881, and We Are the Music Makers under the title Ode 1873. Okay, so you know originally called Ode and commonly referred to it by its first line, We Are the Music Makers, is a poem written by English poet author O. Shaughnessy and first published in 1873. Okay, then let's study about the theme of the poem. The poem is dedicated to artist people like poets, musicians, painters who create a new world through their imaginations and set themselves apart from the rest because of their creativity. The poem celebrates the achievements of the artist. The poem uses various expressions like music makers, dreamers of dreams, movers and shakers to glorify the artist and their achievements. It describes the life of an artist, the beauty of their artworks, and their impact on their surroundings and on the world outside. The artists have the potential to shake the world with the radical thoughts, feelings, and realizations which they deliver through their artist creations through their music, stories, visual arts, stage performance, and so on. Okay, so this is the theme of the poem. Here, Arthur O. Shaughnessy describes about the life of the artist and also their achievements. Okay, let's look at the poetic devices used in the poem. Okay, so here the first stanza. A stanza is a poetic form of some lines. There are 8 line stanza in the poem. Okay, so look at your book page number 39. Okay, so here just look at this. There are 8 lines. Okay, 3 stanzas and 8 lines. So this is the stanza. The next octave. An octave is an 8 line stanza. Here all the stanzas in the poem is an octave. Okay, so here 3 stanzas and each stanza contains 8 lines and this is known as octave. Okay, 8 lines known as octave. Then next rhyming scheme. It follows the rhyming scheme AB 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 in the first stanza, then followed by second stanza A B B C D C D in the second, and lastly A B A B A B A B in the final stanza. Okay, so just look at your book. So here we are the music makers. Okay, so here rhyming makers dreams. These two words sounds too differently. That's why its rhyming will be AB. But here breakers. Okay, breakers makers. These sounds same. So AA. Then next streams dreams sounds same. That's why I've written here B. Then next forsakers. So makers, breakers, then forsakers sounds similarly. Okay, so here A. Then next, glimpse. Okay, glimpse, dreams, streams, glimpse. This will be B. Then shakers. Okay, shakers, here the first, makers, breakers, forsakers, shakers. This is also A. Then last, it seems. Okay, seems, glimpse, streams, dreams. This is all sounds same. So its rhyming scheme will be A B, A B, A B, A B. Okay, so this is the rhyming scheme of the first stanza. Then next, second stanza. Ditties, cities sounds similarly. That's why I have written here A. Then story, glory. These two words sound differently from the first two lines. So that's why I have written here B. Then pleasure, crown. This also sound differently from the above four lines. Pleasure C, then crown D. Measure, pleasure sounds same. Okay, so it will be C. Then down, crown sounds same, it will D. So here the rhyming scheme will be A, B, C, D. Okay, so this is the rhyming scheme of the second stanza. Then last stanza, lying earth. Okay, so different sounds, pronouns. Okay, so here rhyming will be A, B. Then sighing, lying sounds same. So here rhyming scheme will be A. Then mirth, the mirth earth sounds same, it will be B. Professing, so here it will professing, saying, lying, same sounds. So this will be A. Then earth, mirth, earth sounds same. This will B. Then dying A and birth B. Okay, so here the rhyming scheme will be A B, just like to the first stanza. Okay, then next, end rhyme. End rhyme is used to make the stanza melodious, such as story, glory, breakers, forsakers, birth, worth. Okay, so this poem also ends with birth. Okay. Then next, let's study about the literary devices used in the poem. So you know literary devices that are used by the poet to create some feelings, rhythm, emotions. Okay. So here first, assonance. So you know assonance is the repetition of vowel sounds in same line, such as the sound of E in and we are the dreamers of dreams, and the sounds of I in built in Nineveh with our sign. Okay. Then next, poetic device, alliteration. So you know alliteration is the repetition of consonant sounds in the same line. Okay, alliteration is the repetition of consonant sounds in the same line in quick succession, such as the sound of W. Okay, so here, to the old of the new worlds, and the sound of C in shall go forth and conquer a crown. So here, with wonderful WW. Okay, deathless deities. So here DD, this is the repetition of consonants in the same line. We are the music makers. M, music makers. Okay, then and sitting by desolate streams. S, this is the repetition of consonants in the same line. Then next, imagery. The imagery is used to make readers perceive things involving their five senses. For example, wandering by lone sea breakers, we fashion an impious glory, and shall go forth and conquer crown. Okay. Then next, metaphor. Metaphor is a figure of speech in which an implied comparison is made between the objects that are different. Throughout the poem, the poet has used extended metaphor of music to compare a different object with adventure and also pain. So here music, you know, here music makers is used for creative artists, movers and shakers for the artist who challenge the status quo. Okay, status quo means the present circumstances or conditions. This is the metaphor. Okay, comparison of one thing with another thing between the two objects that are different. Then allusion. Allusion is a belief and an indirect reference of a person, place, thing or idea of a historical, cultural, political or literary significance. For example, here the poet has taken some words from the Bible such as Nineveh and Babel. Okay, so this is a indirect reference, maybe a person, maybe place, or maybe thing or idea, or maybe historical or literary significance. Okay, so here the poet has taken two words, Nineveh and Babel. Symbolism. So here symbolism is use of symbols to signify ideas and qualities by giving them symbolic meanings that are different from their literal meanings. So here deathless deities is the symbol of timeless storage. Okay. Symbols, music makers are used, creative artists who create sweet harmonies and rhythms, then dreamers of dreams, the artists who dream that we aspire in life. Okay, these are the poetic devices used in this poem. Okay, then come to the first stanza here. We are the music makers and we are the dreamers of dreams, wandering by lone sea breakers and sitting by desolate streams, wild lodgers and wall forsakers, on whom the pale moon glints. Yet we are the movers and shakers of the world forever, it seems. Okay, so here in the first stanza, here we, the poem starts with the first person plural we. So we here refers to the, okay, the collective voice of the artist. Here artist may be the persons, we can call the musicians, poets, painters. Okay, these are the artist. The first person plural with which the poem opens, we, the collective voice of the artist, which gives the poem its universal appeal. Thus the speaker represents all the strata of the collective persona: poets, musicians, painters and artists. Here the poet doesn't mention a specific art form which gives the poem universal appeal. So here the poet addresses all the artists in all the fields. The artists live in their own imaginative worlds, and it is through their brilliant imagination that are able to create amazing works of art. Okay, so here the first stanza, we are the music makers. Music makers here refer to the artist such as musicians, painters, writers, poet. Okay, so they are called, and we are the dreamers of dreams. So we means refer to the artist. Okay, not refer to a singular. They are the dreamers of dreams. Okay, their dreams are those which we all dream, whereas our dreams vanish. Their dreams get powerful expressions in the shapes of stories, poems, paintings and sculptures. Wandering by lone sea breakers and sitting by desolate streams. Okay, so artists suffer a very critical life. The artists wander alone by the waves and sit in the isolation by the streams, live in their dream to discover beauty in human nature and also better living. Okay, here lone sea breakers. So sea breakers, big sea waves, especially at the point when they just reach the shore. Okay, lone sea breaker, they are also very lone. They are seen at the seaside. Okay, and sitting by the desolate, desolate means, so here there is, that means they are completely free uh, from the people of the world. They are lonely. Their dream is to discover the beauty in human nature and also better living. World lodgers and world forsakers, on whom the pale moon gleams. Yes, they are called the world lodgers and also world forsakers. Forsakers means people who give up something valuable. Okay, so here they are called the failures in the society. Being an artist, is very difficult. The phrase world losers and world forsakers implies the difficulty of sustaining life on art alone. The artists are considered by the world as losers. Yes, the world consider the artists, they are the losers, they are the forsakers, as they remain detached from worldly pursuit, because they remain free from the worldly pleasures. Thus the artists have a tug life full of hardships, which brings out the art from them. They have to kind still, yet they have kind of forsake the world and the society to create things that are extraordinary. you know the life of the artist is very difficult. The world is referring them as the losers and also forsakers. Still, they are focusing on their creativity. Okay, still they are trying to create something extraordinary. So, you know, here the world losers and world forsakers on whom the pale man gleams. So here you know, pale moon can signify the hard lives of the artist in that they earn less. The pale moon is a symbol of the minimal income of the artist in our society. Only the pale moon shines over us, that is, we remain unsuccessful in material terms, yes. So they are suffering a lot, they struggle very hard, still they earn a very little amount of money, still they are not able to maintain their life in a very luxurious way, they get a very little amount of money. Okay, so only the pale moon shines over us. So here we it indicates that the hardship of the or the income of the artist, yet it seems that we are movers and forsakers. Still they are known as the movers and shakers of the world. They, because that's why they are called the movers and shakers, you know, because they have the power, they have the power of the imagination in the writing, in the painting, in the singing. Okay, so they have the power from their art form to shake the world, because they can change the world. They can change the world with their imaginative art, imaginative thinking, world forever and ever, even after death. Their art has the power to rebel against the system and bring about revolutions. Okay, so not to forget, pain is mightier than the sword. Clear? So I think you have got the complete explanation of the first stanza. So this is the destination about the first stanza. Okay, then move to the second. With wonderful deathless deities, we build up the world's great cities, and out of a fabulous story, we fashion an empire's glory. One man with a dream, art, pleasure, shall go forth and conquer a crown, and three with a new song's measure can trample an empire down. Okay, so here you know, with wonderful deathless deities. Okay, you know, deathless means, you know, those can call immortal. Okay, immortal. So the contribution of the artist to the world through their works is highlighted. Though they are evergreen songs, they can create wonderful cities, and though their stories, they can also talk about glorious empires. So you know, in this poem, the poet has given example of all the artists, the contribution of the artist. Okay, through their, here the poet also gives an example of a singer. Through their evergreen songs, they can create wonderful cities, and through their stories, they can also talk about glorious empires. Okay, and build up the world's great cities, and with wonderful deathless ditties. You know, ditties means short simple songs. Okay, that means after the death, their song is also immortal, their songs is also still remain in the heart of the people. Clear? The artist motivate the people, a man with a dream. Okay, and out of a fabulous story, we fashions the empire's glory. One man with a dream, art, pleasure. That means the artist motivate the people, a man with a dream and resolution can go about and achieve great things through his determinations. The artist can steer the minds of the people. Art is powerful, and it can also destroy an empire too. Thus, the works of art hold great importance. So, with their praiseworthy immortal small lyric songs on various cities of the world have made the cities immortal. We only need to think about think about the Mahabharata and also other epics. Okay, so we only need to think about the text like Iliad, the epics of Gilgamesh, the Mahabharata, and others to understand the veracity of these lines, because such epics and poems and intangible in nature, they cannot be completely destroyed. They cannot be completely destroyed. This is the power of the artist. Okay, even after their death, this is also still in the heart of the people. They composed and designed many stories of glory and fame, states and empire for good they hold. So they have the creativity. They have the skill and idea. Their creation helps many to do wonders in life by achieving set goals and crown. The places and civilization mentioned in these great works may have been destroyed, but their existence remain, thanks to the art of the dreamers of the dream. The new artist with their new creation destroyed the old thought to bring about the required changes. So it is the only creativity power of the artist. He can bring the old, he can change the old into a new one. Okay, so this is the power of an artist through their songs, through their power of writing, through their the power of building a monument. So they can change everything. They have the intangible power. Directly or indirectly we can say that these artists are the real heroes feeders of the world. Okay, step heavily and carelessly on something and damage it. So it is the only the power of the artist. Okay, so he can destroy the old one and bring into a new one. Okay, here the written arts is powerful, art is powerful and it can destroy an empire too. Okay, then next last stanza. We in the ages lying in the buried past of the earth, Nineveh with our slaying, and Babel itself with our mirth, and overthrew them with prophesying to the old of the new world's worth, for each age is a dream that is dying, or one that is coming to birth. Okay, so here we in the ages lying. The poet says that artists have been there all time suggesting art is immortal. Just build the ancient city of Nineveh, which was destroyed. So you know Nineveh uh, was one of the ancient city of the upper Mesopotamia in modern day. This is Iraq. So it was the largest city in the world for about 50 years until 612 BC. So we in the ages lying in the buried past of the earth. The artist built the ancient city of Nineveh which was destroyed. With great efforts, the slaves who built the city were tortured. Then the city of Babel was built with happiness by architects. The artists are hence powerful people. It is the artist who helped create the modern world by showing to the older world the greatness of the former. Okay. Each age that goes away was a dream of the artist, the creators, and each age to come is a dream that will take a birth. Okay, so here the you can say the ancient creation of the artist are read in the history of the world, like the myth city of Nineveh and the Tower Babel mentioned in their for their deeds and also buried in the past, in the buried past of the earth. So here the poet takes two example, Nineveh and Babel. Okay, Babel, the word Babel refers to the mythological tower of Babel in the city of Babylon. Okay, Nineveh with our sighing and Babel itself with our mirth. So the mirth, laughter and happiness. The artists with their skill of imagination are able to predict the new era that is approaching and the past that is disappearing. Even every era is a dream of illusion that is coming to an end, making way for the new era to create new illusions respecting the old. The cycle continues. So the Tower of Babel was never completed. The poet's purpose here the main purpose of the poet here to portray the fact that when the artists were happy, they built Babel, and when they were distressed, they built Nineveh. Nineveh in the time of its temporal prosperity, Nineveh was a center of crime and wickedness. And Babel, the declared purpose of the tower was to reach the heavens or to achieve the fame of the people. So you can imagine that these are the symbols of the human rise and fall. The artist can create a myth and also can demolish them. So this is the only the power of the artist that means they can also create anything and also they can demolish them easily. So here the for each age is a dream that is dying. That means the present which arises from the ashes of a dying past. For each age is a dream that is dying, that is referring to the past. Okay, or one that is coming to birth. That means here the present which simultaneously gives birth to the future. That means arts never die. Okay, artist, the creativity of the artist never die even after the death of the artist. Okay, so thus the poem assigns to the music makers and dreamers of the dreams a significant role in shaping the past, present and future of the world. That's why the poet mention here that artists have been there all the time, suggesting art is immortal. That means they are in the past, present and will also be forever in the future. Okay, art is immortal. So this is the explanation of the third stanza. So here built Nineveh with her sighing. Okay, you know sighing means here disappointment. Okay, you can call it is a one type of sadness. Okay, displeasure we can call. Okay, so this poem is all over about the artist. Here the poets doesn't mention about the particular artist. Here it may be, they may be refer to the painter, the musicians and also the singer. We are the music makers. So I think this video will help you. If you have any doubt, you can comment in the comment box. Okay, so you should make a complete note about it. First you should write about the poet's introduction, then about the theme of the poem, next the poetic devices that are used in the poem, then next the literary devices. There are six literary devices are used: assonance, alliteration, imagery, then metaphor. Okay, then allusion, symbolism. Then you should also write all the explanation of the first, second and also third stanza. In the next video we will discuss about its question answer. Okay, thank you.